What?
Mommy, I'm a police officer.
Yeah, he a police. Got big straps on. Big straps. Yeah, big straps.
Mommy,
Big straps.
mommy, I got big guns.
Man, me and mom's to finish this motherfucker off.
Mommy, I got both guns. Mommy, I got both guns in my pocket.
I see you got both guns in your pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah, run up and get that up.
See, mommy?
She was still bleeding when the ambulance arrived. She was shot in the arm, shot in the stomach, and barely conscious. And the woman who called 911? She had just watched it happen. Inside a small apartment on Milwaukee's 52nd and Locust, 31-year-old Cheron Miller lay on the floor, gasping for air, eyes still open. Hours earlier, she was live on Facebook, ranting and calling someone out. She said she was done being lied to and she had a secret to expose and she wasn't scared of what would happen next. But someone was watching that live in real time, someone who didn't take the threat lightly. Someone she trusted, once. And by the end of the night, that someone pulled a gun and fired 4 times. And the most haunting part? His own mother was there. She saw everything. And when it came time to speak, she disappeared. This is the story of how a Facebook Live turned fatal. And how one man walked free, after allegedly murdering the mother of 4, in front of his own mother. Her name was Cheron Miller. And this is what happened when she threatened to reveal the truth.
Anytime you can sit here and settle for being with somebody that you're not even naturally attracted to, that you don't even like, that you don't even have a connection with, just to satisfy your materialistic and your earthbound needs, nigga, you don't even love yourself. Because I'm not finna sit here and shortchange myself and sit up with a mother to you, my nigga. I'm gonna either charge you by the... It ain't no long-term prostitution over here, my nigga. You was never... I never even liked...
Cheron Miller, also known as Cheron or Chiner, was born on July 3, 1988 in Chicago. But she wasn't just a name on a birth certificate. She was a mother, a fighter, and a woman who refused to be silenced. Raised by her mother, Jacqueline Brinson, Cheron grew up with a fiery spirit that could light up any room. She had a way with words and an even stronger sense of loyalty to her loved ones, especially her children.
I gotta walk down the street and go get my niece. Buddha babe. Look at that. Look at this. I made this. Buddha. He came out of me. Look at him. Look at her. Look at her. Say hey, Mackenzie. Smile. Let them see your nipples. This is a product of me. I did this. Look, I made this. I made this. Look at these. Look at that. Look how beautiful he is. I made these mother. And then you see that motherfucker that sleep. That little bad motherfucker. I'm gonna go around and put the camera on him too. Hold on. I don't got no viewers right now, but I'm still gonna talk my shit. You see this motherfucker here? I made that beautiful motherfucker with this pussy.
She worked tirelessly to build a better life for her kids. Cheron wasn't just a mother. She was also a talented tattoo artist at Nocturnal Ink and Body Canvas, known for her precision and creativity. She took pride in her work and her reputation in the tattoo community, earning respect for her artistry. But that wasn't all. Cheron was driven to secure a future for herself and her family. She enrolled at ITT Technical Institute to study network and systems administration, aiming to create a stable career outside the art world. Despite her busy schedule, Cheron never stopped working. She juggled multiple jobs, including a role at Go Right Way Transport, always doing what she had to do to make ends meet. She wasn't just a woman who spoke her mind. Cheron was outspoken, funny, and incredibly resilient, qualities that attracted both admiration and criticism.
Somebody said something about me smoking cigarettes on my live. Said, that's not ladylike. You shouldn't be smoking in public, and a lot of men don't like that. First of all, if you fuck with me and you don't smoke and you don't drink, you ain't for me. My gotta smoke. My gotta drink. I don't fuck with no lame, boring ass, sober ass nigga. I damn near don't even like a stable-minded ass bitch. I'm unstable. I can't deal with no level-headed motherfucker. You ain't never gonna understand where the fuck I'm coming from.
She had a knack for making people laugh, for being the center of attention. Her bold personality often played out on social media, where she didn't hold back her opinions or personal experiences.
Bitches over a nigga because a nigga opened up the whole situation of them talking in the first place, which makes a lot of sense. But all I'm saying is this: I just want to beat you up, bitch, because you exist. The and what happened really don't matter. I'm not pressed over the fact that a nigga is trying to pursue a bitch outside of one bitch because that's what niggas do. I just want to beat your ass and put you out the picture because he like you. You gotta be cuter than me. You ain't even gotta have a better body than I got. You can have nothing. You can be a complete bum on the street, but if my nigga like you, I don't like you. 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna try to beat you up at some point.
She shared the highs, the lows, and everything in between.
When I was pregnant with Kingston, my son, my last baby, I did that shit on my own. My baby daddy didn't reach out to me, didn't ask how I was doing, didn't see if I was okay. I was homeless, all that shit. I was living from house to house, all that shit. And I got 2 other kids. Not once, do you hear me? Not one time, not one motherfucking time did I inbox a baby mama, did I inbox a friend, did I ride up a block, none of that shit. You know what I did? I got on my shit. You understand what I'm saying? I made sure my kids was straight, man. I made sure we was good. I made sure we had somewhere to stay. I got us a place. I paid my rent up for 3 months. I paid my light bill up for.
Cheron made it clear to anyone watching that she didn't care about living up to anyone's expectations.
All I'm saying. So inboxing me about our baby daddy is not gonna make him do shit. It's just irritating me. I don't give a fuck about that nigga. I see that nigga and he do what he gotta do for his son, which really he really ain't gotta do nothing for his son, cause I got everything done for him. He don't need shit. What do he need? He don't need nothing. I made sure he had everything. That's all I'm saying. Y'all need to make sure y'all kids got everything. If y'all see that this nigga ain't shit, I can go in my motherfucking inbox and motherfucking pull up how many times y'all said that. So if you know this nigga, what the fuck is you inboxing me for, telling me that he not taking care of y'all kids?
Her family and friends often described her as a fighter, someone who never backed down from what she believed in. Yet, despite her strength and the fierce love she had for her family, Cheron's life would come to an end under horrific circumstances. When Cheron Miller met Darnell Kimball, it didn't look like a red flag right away. Not at first. From the outside, Darnell seemed like any other guy. But behind the surface was a long trail of warning signs. A criminal record dating back to 2009, when he was first convicted of armed robbery. That conviction would be followed by more arrests. Battery, disorderly conduct, drug possession, and in 2018, an alarming charge of strangulation and suffocation. But Cheron was used to guys like that, but she wasn't aware of his crime records in particular, and by the time she did, she was already involved. What made it worse? Darnell was married, and Cheron had no idea. She was unknowingly the other woman, tangled in a lie that would eventually consume her. Despite this betrayal, she stayed. It's not easy to understand why. Maybe she hoped he would change. Maybe she loved him. Maybe it was just that familiar pattern, the kind of men she had dated before, men who were broken and men who broke her. This wasn't a stable relationship. It was a cycle of chaos and control, made even more dangerous by their matching tempers. Both had strong personalities, and when things were good, they were good. But when things were bad, it was explosive. Cheron started to see the cracks. And she wasn't quiet about it either. She began posting on Facebook Live, airing her frustrations, her heartbreak, and eventually, her anger. She called him out for his lies, for being emotionally manipulative, and for dragging her into a relationship she never signed up for.
You gonna make me say your name, bro. Like, don't stop inboxing me. For real, don't do that. Cause now you making me mad, bro. Oh God, like that shit is uncaused for. Like, what? Like, I can talk about what the I want to talk about. This is my page, this is my life.
She knew he was watching. And that's what made it worse. She didn't back down. She leaned in harder. She wasn't just ranting, she was threatening to expose the affair, to name names, to air every dirty secret on her timeline. But she didn't realize what that would spark in him. Cheron thought she was taking back power. Darnell saw it as an act of war. And what happened next would seal her fate. So, on September 12, 2019, Cheron Miller walked into the apartment near 52nd and Locust in Milwaukee. It wasn't a visit, she wasn't there to talk. She was there to collect her things and to leave Darnell Kimball behind, for good. But Darnell wasn't ready to let go. Inside that apartment, a heated argument erupted. Loud enough for neighbors to hear. And it wasn't just the two of them in the room. Darnell's mother was there too. And she saw everything. According to her statement later, Cheron and Darnell stood within arm's reach of each other. Emotions ran high. Words turned into shouting. Then came a moment, split second, tense, blurred, when Cheron swung her arm at him. What happened next would change everything. Darnell pulled out a gun, no hesitation and no warning. He aimed and fired, and the bullet struck Cheron in the arm, then tore through her abdomen. She dropped to the floor, bleeding, gasping, and still conscious, for a moment. But Darnell didn't stay. He didn't check if she was breathing. He ran and he left his own mother in that apartment, alone, with a dying woman on the floor. It was Darnell's mother who called 911, and by the time paramedics arrived, Cheron was barely hanging on. She was rushed to the hospital. She never made it back out. It was 1 a.m., September 13, 2019. Cheron Miller was pronounced dead at the hospital. The medical examiner's report confirmed what everyone feared: gunshot wounds to the arm and abdomen. Her death was ruled a homicide, and the news spread fast through the community. A mother of 4, a friend to many, a daughter taken too soon. People were in shock. Her family was shattered.
31-year-old Cheron Miller was shot in the arm and abdomen inside an apartment near 52nd and Locust in 2019. Miller died hours later.
She was just an outgoing, loving person, and I'm really going to miss her. She has beautiful children that are really going to miss her.
The medical examiner's office ruled her death a homicide.
In the days after Cheron's death, the investigation moved quickly and Darnell Kimball was arrested. He didn't turn himself in. No police tracked him down. And when they did, prosecutors wasted no time. He was officially charged with first-degree reckless homicide, for pulling the trigger that ended Cheron's life. He was also hit with a second charge: possession of a firearm by a felon. Because this wasn't his first run-in with the law. By 2019, Darnell already had a criminal record. But now the stakes were different. He wasn't just a repeat offender, he was the man accused of killing a mother of 4. And the state believed they had a solid case. There was no mystery about what happened. His own mother, the woman who raised him, was listed as a witness. She had seen the shooting with her own eyes, and her testimony could have sealed the case. But what no one knew yet was that everything would soon fall apart. Because when the trial date arrived in November 2020, the courtroom was missing something critical. Darnell's mom never showed up, no warning, no explanation, and no testimony. And without her, the prosecution had nothing to stand on. The state's entire case was built around her account, because no weapon was recovered, no video, and no other witnesses, and without her, the defense didn't have to work very hard. They leaned into the silence, they cast doubt, and the judge had no choice. The charges were dismissed without prejudice, which meant Darnell could be charged again in the future. But for the time being, he walked out of that courtroom a free man. Jacqueline Brinson, Cheron's mother, sat through it all. She had lost her daughter. Now she was losing justice too.
The ball was dropped for justice for my daughter. It reopened the wound and it's all over again.
This is Jacqueline Brinson. She spoke with Fox 6 back in November 2020 after prosecutors said a key witness in the trial of this man, Darnell Kimball, failed to show up.
He literally shot and murdered my daughter, and he's walking free.
She said it with pain, with disbelief, with the kind of rage only a grieving mother can carry. The case didn't fall apart because of a lack of evidence. It fell apart because someone chose not to speak. After the case was dismissed, Darnell Kimball walked free. But he was still convicted of felony gun possession, and the punishment? Just 2 years of probation. Meanwhile, Cheron's mother, Jacqueline Brinson, was left to pick up the pieces. She moved away from Milwaukee, took in her daughter's 4 children, became their full-time caregiver, a grandmother forced to become a mother again. All while carrying the pain of losing her firstborn. The grief didn't fade. But neither did the fight. Cheron's friends and family kept her memory alive. They shared her posts, talked about her every chance they got. And they refused to let the story die. To help cover her funeral costs, a GoFundMe was launched. It raised just over $2,500. That money paid for the burial, but it couldn't bury the pain, and it couldn't bury the need for justice. So her loved ones waited and hoped that someday the system would come back to finish what it failed to do. And then, it did, because in 2023, 4 years later, Milwaukee prosecutors came back with new energy. They weren't done, not yet.
Accused of killing a woman nearly 4 years ago is charged again. Fox 6's Bill Miston joins us live. Bill, the original case here was dismissed, and my understanding, this all came down to one key witness.
Yeah, a witness who never showed up. That's why Darnell Kimball's homicide trial went out the window several years ago. Right now, prosecutors aren't saying what changed, but the refiling of charges signals that prosecutors are ready to take the case to trial again.
May 2, 2023, 4 years after Cheron Miller was shot and killed, Milwaukee prosecutors made their move. The charges were back on the table: first-degree reckless homicide and possession of a firearm by a felon, same charges and same suspect. But this time, prosecutors seemed determined not to let it slip away. An arrest warrant was issued for Darnell Kimball. Police publicly urged the community to step up. Anyone who knew where Darnell might be was asked to come forward. This was the moment they had been waiting for, the second chance they feared might never come. But justice still had one more hurdle. As of today, Darnell Kimball is still missing. He hasn't answered for what happened inside that apartment, and hasn't faced a courtroom. Authorities continue to search for him. But every day that passes feels like history is repeating itself. What's worse, there's reason to believe his mother, the only known eyewitness, may also be in hiding. Some say she's avoiding a subpoena. Others say she's protecting her son. But Cheron Miller's tragic death was not an anomaly in Milwaukee's 2019 landscape. That year, domestic violence cast a long dark shadow over the city and the state. In Milwaukee County alone, there were 26 domestic violence homicides in 2019. This marked a significant increase from previous years and highlighted a disturbing trend. Statewide, Wisconsin reported 72 lives lost due to domestic violence in 2019. This figure included 52 homicide victims, 18 perpetrator suicides following homicides, and 2 perpetrators killed by responding law enforcement. These numbers represented a 53% increase from the previous year. A closer examination of these cases revealed a chilling pattern. In at least 57% of the homicide incidents, prior domestic violence was a precipitating factor. Moreover, in 42% of the cases, the victim was in the process of leaving or had recently left the abusive relationship. This underscores the heightened risk victims face during separation. Milwaukee's Sherman Park neighborhood, where Cheron was killed, was among the areas with the highest density of domestic violence incidents. Other neighborhoods like Franklin Heights and Roosevelt Grove also reported elevated cases, indicating that certain communities were disproportionately affected. And that raises a bigger question. How many families are out here waiting for justice that never comes? If you know anything about the whereabouts of Darnell Kimball or his mother, who may be evading testimony, call the Milwaukee Police Department or submit a tip anonymously through Crime Stoppers. Because staying silent doesn't just delay justice, it buries it. And if this story moved you, don't scroll away, share this video. Comment your thoughts on the case. Let Cheron's name be heard, louder than the silence that followed her death. We're telling her story. Now it's time for the system to do the rest. Justice for Cheron Miller.